While the phrase broke the internet is overused,
yeah, but break the internet, it's like a thing.
Jennifer Aniston did manage to break Instagram, at least temporarily.
I'm just trying to build content.
I see.
As they say.
How did she go from being the star of a sitcom to one of the most beloved actresses in Hollywood? When Jennifer Aniston was 9 years old, she returned home from a birthday party to some distressing news. Her mother told her that her father was gone, and she didn't know when he would be back. Although Jennifer had grown used to the sounds of her parents' frequent arguments, she was stunned by the news of their divorce. Later, Jennifer learned her father, John Aniston, had been having an affair. After he left, he had no contact with his daughter for an entire year. Even after all she's been through in her life, Jennifer considers this the most painful period of time she's ever experienced. And things weren't much easier at home with her mother, Nancy Dow. According to Jennifer, Nancy was a model and actress who took great pride in her appearance and was hoping for a daughter as beautiful as she was. But when she looked at Jennifer, it seemed like all she could find were faults. She told Jennifer her eyes were too close together and seemed to zero in on anything about her appearance that was less than perfect. This left her daughter feeling insecure about her appearance and heartbroken that she would never be the model daughter her mother had wished for. Well, just tell that to People magazine, who voted her the most beautiful woman of 2016. But if there's a silver lining to Jennifer's own critical mother, it's that she helped her get into character for the movie Dumplin'. She says the relationship between her character Rosie and her daughter Willa Dean reminded her of her own relationship with her mother. Not only did Nancy make Jennifer believe she wasn't beautiful, but she also taught her how to hold her tongue. Jennifer claims her mother would frequently scream at her, and the one time she tried to raise her voice back, Nancy laughed right in her face. This caused her to internalize the incident and feel like she couldn't speak up for herself. This resulted in a lot of passive-aggressive behavior that Jennifer claims it took many years and a lot of therapy to undo. But while things were tough at home, school wasn't much better. Growing up, Jennifer felt like she just couldn't retain any information she learned, and this caused her to believe she was stupid. It wasn't until she was an adult that Jennifer learned she actually had dyslexia during an eye exam. That explained her prior struggles with learning, but letting go of the narrative that she was unintelligent was a lot harder to shake off. Jennifer felt like she was failing her mother, and her schoolwork wasn't much better, so she found refuge in her school's drama club, but had to go up against a serious lack of encouragement. Her father had returned to her life after his year-long absence, and Jennifer was desperate to keep him happy so he wouldn't leave again. John Anniston was an actor, and he encouraged Jennifer not to follow in his footsteps, saying the entertainment industry is just too challenging and she should pick something easier. We have a feeling this star is definitely glad she didn't listen to her parents about this. Her parents were so non-enthusiastic about the industry that they wouldn't even let her watch television unless she was homesick from school. Was becoming a huge TV star just a way to rebel against her parents? If so, it was a pretty fantastic plan. But let's just say her career wasn't exactly smooth sailing in the beginning. While Jennifer was trying to make a career out of acting, she still had bills to pay, so she took pretty much whatever gigs she could get her hands on. She worked as a receptionist, waitress, and even a telemarketer. But Jennifer says the worst, most stressful job she ever had was a bike messenger in New York City.
Ride a bike, and that would be fun, and not my thing, with cylinders and backpacks, and that lasted one day.
And while she was getting work as an actress, she kept appearing in flop after flop. There were a bunch of quickly canceled television shows like Malloy, Ferris Bueller, The Edge, and Muddling Through. Then there was the made-for-TV movie Camp Cucamonga and Leprechaun. This horror movie is widely regarded as Jennifer's worst role, and she admits that years later when she rewatched it, she couldn't help but cringe. Honestly, the scariest thing about this bad horror movie was that this could have been the end of her career. Nowadays, Jennifer practically radiates positivity, but back then, things were looking grim. One particularly low point was approaching TV executive Warren Littlefield at a gas station, desperate for reassurance that she was going to make it. He encouraged her to keep trying, and just a few months later, he called her in to audition for a little show you might have heard of called Friends. In order to get the gig, she had to pass up an appearance on Saturday Night Live, and everyone thought she was crazy for doing so.
I didn't think I would like that environment.
Well, looks like Jennifer definitely had the last laugh there. Although it's so hard to picture her as anyone but Rachel Green, Jennifer actually auditioned for the role of Monica Geller, while Courtney Cox tried out for Rachel. Being on Friends meant being a part of one of the most successful television shows of all time, and that came with a big, fat paycheck.
My first paycheck!
At one point, she and her female co-stars were the highest paid women in television, raking in $1 million per episodes. It turns out pretending to be a waitress on TV is a lot more lucrative than actually waiting tables. Her character's romance with David Schwimmer's character Ross Geller was one of the highlights of the show, and Jennifer was a household name. People even wanted to imitate her haircut, and the Rachel became a huge trend. But surprisingly, it's one Jennifer actually hated.
He was loaded when he gave me the haircut. Stoned out of his mind.
According to Jennifer, not only is the look dated, but it's nearly impossible to maintain without the help of a professional stylist.
I don't know how to make it look like that. I just, so yeah.
Friends gave Jennifer wealth and fame, but she also got something even more important. Friends. Well, actual friends, not just the show. Her friendships made her realize how she should be treated, but while her pals were building her up, her mother was trying to capitalize on her success. Nancy Dow was peddling interviews about Jennifer to anyone who would listen, and even wrote a book called From Mother and Daughter to Friends, a memoir. Jennifer felt betrayed and ended up cutting off contact with her mother for years. She wasn't even invited to her wedding to Brad Pitt. Jennifer and Brad were introduced by their agents, and as soon as they started dating, their relationship was big news. But their infamous divorce, now that was something everyone was talking about. Brad met Angelina Jolie on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith and soon after filed for divorce from Jennifer. While there were allegations of an affair, Angelina and Brad insisted they didn't get together until after he split from Jennifer, a fact which she found less than comforting. In the immediate aftermath, Jennifer stayed classy by staying quiet, and many fans felt as though they were on her side regarding the whole thing. Years later, Jennifer admitted that it really hurt hearing Angelina talk about how she had fallen in love with Brad while they were still married. She had been willing to put the work in on their marriage, but Brad admits he was just looking for a way out. Although it was tough, Jennifer had a lot of support, and in the aftermath of her divorce, she actually reconnected with her mother. She gained a newfound empathy for her mom and how she must have felt after her dad left. She realized her mother's hurtful comments were a reflection of her mother's own insecurities and the result of how she herself had been raised. When Nancy later passed away, Jennifer was glad they hadn't left things on bad terms. Jennifer was used to being in the spotlight, but after her split with Brad, the narrative surrounding her changed. Tabloids painted her as an angry, bitter woman who was desperate to have a child and resented Brad for moving on and having a family. At first, Jennifer was adamant that she would have children someday, but she came to resent the idea that she was somehow incomplete on her own. While she isn't 100% closed off to the idea, she admits to finding the idea of being a parent kind of frightening. Jennifer did end up getting married again, this time to Justin Theroux, who she met on the set of Tropic Thunder in 2007. But it wasn't until they were filming Wanderlust that they reconnected and started dating. The two were determined to keep their relationship on the down low, and whenever they were seen together, they looked so happy. Fans were invested in Jennifer's relationship since her split with Brad, so when she and Justin announced their divorce, people were stunned. But instead of being bitter, Jennifer was surprisingly zen about the whole thing. She and Justin stated that they were just different people, and over time those differences became more apparent until they realized they were happier apart. Jennifer doesn't believe either of her marriages failed because she was happy while she was in them, and she's still happy on her own. Jennifer has always been one of the more private celebs out there, which definitely contributes to her appeal as an approachable girl-next-door type. She's been so exasperated by the media scrutiny she's gone through over the years that she learned to keep to herself, but that doesn't mean she's totally out of the loop. She admits to having a Finstagram account to keep an eye on what people are doing online, and when she finally got her own account, she gained over 10 million followers in a single day. Her friend's reunion photo temporarily crashed the site and racked up millions of likes, setting a new Guinness World Record. And not only is Jennifer on social media, but she's going to be back on television as well. For the first time since Friends ended, Jennifer is working on a TV show. She'll be working with her celebrity pal Reese Witherspoon, who played her spoiled younger sister Jill on Friends. Hey, what can we say? Apparently Jennifer in television, we were on a break. There are tons of beautiful, talented women in Hollywood, so just what is it about Jennifer Aniston that people love so much? See if you can explain her popularity in the comment section and then click on the subscribe button for more videos from the taco. Bye for now.